Borough Council business meeting for June 14th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Joey, would you mind taking roll call?
Sure. Dave Matlin,
Present.
Joey Warren, present. Ray Suchovich,
Present.
present virtual. Sylvia Provenza,
Present.
Trish Redzak Showalter, Vince Flota, Rhoda Wharf,
Present.
Mayor Dave Recupero, absent. Craig Alexander,
Present.
Matt Pitch, not present, and Christine Durunk, not present. Okay.
All right, thank you. Are there any emergency additional agenda items at this time from council?
This is an active cooling station as well as I think the church, but the mayor could probably better speak to that. But I know that the committee, which Ray, I don't know if you could speak to if this is something you would want to talk to now, but we have warming and cooling centers that were set up that the committees were looking at in February.
I know the borough has a cooling center, and we can use the fire department if we would need be. But I don't know of any place else in town that has anything.
Okay, so for anyone that's in the public, you can either come to the borough or call the borough. And I'm sure that we can use the call line, not the answer, but we can use the communication.
I think the best bet to set it up is, I think Mayor Dave always said call 911 and they'll send the police and open it up and things like that. But to call 911 and have the police set it up.
Okay. Thank you, Ray.
Yep.
Any other emergency additional agenda items?
Yes, I think everybody probably knows we had a multiple fire on Saturday. I was wondering if there was any way we could put a donation box.
I mean, who is some? I mean, if there's a donation, are you asking for the?
I've been contacted by several people about
So, well, let's add this to the agenda to discuss. Let's put it. Yeah, let's table this. Put it under the fire chief's report. So I'm going to make a note here, but feel free to remind me.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that we handle election or anything, but if there is a GoFundMe or social media post saying
All right, we'll come back to that under the fire chief's report. All right, any other emergency items? All right, next we'll have registered comments from the public. First, we have Sean Mitchell, 800 2nd Street. Is Sean with us?
I don't see one registered as Sean online, and we don't have Sean present in chambers either. It's 7:06.
Okay.
So at this point,
We're gonna skip Sean and come back if they arrive. Next we have, I believe this is Jen Walzer regarding the use of borough bathrooms and parking lot for the intergroup celebration.
so I don't see
Jen
anyone
with us.
yet, not online virtually, and not in person at this point, and it is still 7:06.
Okay, also not present. We will come back if she appears. All right, next we will have comments from the public. At this time, council will hear comments on agenda-related items only. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Looking online, we have no virtual hands raised and no one from chambers approaching the podium.
Okay. With that, then we will move on to approval of minutes and monthly financial reports. Mr. Warren.
Thank you. So within your packets, council, you will see that we have the balance sheet and the budget versus actual through May 31. Balance sheet by fund is page 1. General fund and sewer fund are also in here. I want to make note, and liquid fuels and ARPA as well. We're going to be reconciling the first 6 months of business for us to have as a topic for next month. So if you have any questions tonight for us to go over, we can do that. But I urge that we all study through the first 6 months once we have June completed for a thorough discussion for next month as we start tackling budget. Are there any questions for what we see before us tonight? Table what? Oh, well, I'll make the motion if there's a second, but I mean, so I'd like to make a motion to pass these myself. I've been able to read through them.
All right. So this is, to clarify, this is a motion to pay the bills for the May 12th through June 14th. So first by Mr. Warren, second by Mrs. Wharf. Any questions or comments? I still get a hard copy.
Paper copies here. And is there anything you have, like you literally just want to digest these? Like there's.
You want to move it to the end of the meeting? So it gives you a little bit of time to.
I mean, if we don't pay the bills, then we can't. I wish I would have known sooner that you guys didn't receive them or didn't have a chance to see them. I mean, I don't. There's a motion on the floor to pay the bills, so I don't know what else to do other than to take a vote because it's something critical to keeping operations moving forward.
Did you get them before today?
Yeah.
Paper print, yeah, paper or prepared copies.
Sorry, what was your suggestion?
Move the acceptance of the bills in the minutes to the end of the meeting to allow them to go through their screens and maybe review it as we go through the meeting. I'm okay with that.
Fine with me. Sure. All right. So are you okay rescinding your?
Yes, I'll rescind. Let's take through the rest of the meeting for you to read between reporting, and then I'll make the motion at the end that we pass the budget to pay the bills for this month. Yeah.
And then, Bernadette, are you rescinding your second? Okay. All right, so we'll come back to that.
While we're on discussion still, does anyone have any questions about the list of bills or anything? Or okay, all right, thank you. And for finance, I believe that's all I have to report. For the finances, I'll just postpone them to the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. We saw.
Are you ready to speak to Jen's register comment?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to come up to the mic and state your name and address?
Valley Valley Neighborhood Brewing. I live at So, I'm here for Jen, who registered her comment. Solidify the park that we're renting for the 25th. So it's rent just like all the other activities in the park. We need to make sure, two little things. We don't want to take up too many spaces, parking spaces with food trucks. So we were wondering if we could use this sidewalk just for food. Like the other activities that have been down there, and then two of you in front of our place. That way, because we're not shutting down the street or anything, we just want to make sure that the party place has their spots and everything, so we didn't want to take up two truck space. So we have 2 trucks in that side lot there. That would be great. And just wanted to make sure that we would put a sign up that says no alcohol in the restroom, but as long as we use these restrooms, every single hour we have a staff member that is specifically in charge of making sure they're clean, making sure they're stocked, and then at the end we will clean them. We did that last time, so it will be exactly the way we left them. Crazy about cleaning ours too, so make sure that they're completely clean. That's about it. Everything else is as planned. Those 2 little things we need to make sure we're okay. I should know. I'm just giving you a comment. Yeah, but it's just in the park, so we're not shutting down the street. We're not doing anything. It is Saturday the 25th. It's open to anyone. Yep. We have a band coming.
I just wanted to.
Right.
Saturday.
Right. We make sure we make sure everyone on the street knew that we're happy with. Make sure that everyone was ahead of the game.
I mean, does anyone else have any questions for Kelly? Does anyone have any objections to what she's proposing?
The other stuff is
Oh, is there a resolution? Okay, so then we can, really, I'm not seeing it.
Which letter are you?
The one that she sent last.
What letter are you seeing?
Yeah, we can do it. I just want to make sure it wasn't.
I mean, I don't know if we need a formal,
You did. Nobody has an objection, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ours will be open too. It's not like-
You're good to go.
Yep.
Formality.
all right.
Thanks for
Kelly.
joining and answering questions.
All right. Good on financials.
Yeah,
For
so,
now.
yeah, balance sheet bills, approval of minutes is the last piece that's C on here.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for May 10th and May 31st? So first by Ms. Provenza, second by Ms. Dwarf. Any questions or comments? Okay. Yes, Sylvia and Rhoda, do you have any objection to rescinding those and tabling it to the end of the meeting? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on, Council President's report. Just a couple of quick things. We held an executive session last Monday, May 23rd, on personnel and collective bargaining agreements. The 2023 budget discussion, I mentioned last meeting that we were going to hold this at the June workshop, but after further discussion and consideration with our borough secretary and the fact that she's on vacation this week, and the fact that the June financials will be in by July workshop, by the July business meeting actually, that we're going to push the budget discussion for 2023 to the July workshop rather than June. Gives Christine a little bit more time to prepare, especially with her being on vacation. I know she wants to prepare some information reports to share with council and the public. And so this will give us the June financials, as Mr. Warren mentioned earlier, that we'll be able to see a true mid-year financial condition. So that may help us in having discussions about the budget going forward for next year. So just to recap, we're going to have a normal June workshop, July workshop. I'm just asking to refrain from adding anything that isn't time sensitive or critical. So if you can try to plan ahead for that and try to get stuff on the June workshop or postpone it to August if possible. I think that'll give us more time to have a good budget discussion without being here 5 hours long. So that's all I have. Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll still have an August workshop meeting. It should be a normal workshop unless, unless there's some other, important particular issue that comes up. But yeah, July will be the one that will be a little bit different. It'll be more focused on just budget. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. Thank you. Okay, next, the mayor's report. The mayor is not present tonight, and he did not have, actually did have a couple things that I'll just touch on right now. One was there was a handicap parking spot application for, find it here, for 557 North Avenue. The chief reviewed this, so the registration is attached to this note showing this individual does have handicap plates on her vehicle. So I don't know, do we need a motion for that?
My recommendation, since it wasn't sent in within the 24 hours, and Christine being active, is just to, unless council has any objection, to let the chief know that it's good to go, and we'll ratify it next month's meeting.
Okay.
For the workshop.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll make a note about that. So I think that's it for the mayor's report. He did ask that I read the fire and police reports later in the meeting when we get to those. Next is the borough secretary's report. Again, Christine's not here. However, she did have one item, the update on the pickleball club's park reservation request that she wanted me to mention. She said there's no action to take on this, but instead this is just an FYI that the pickleball club is requesting to reserve 2 of the 4 courts from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. During this time, 2 courts are available for walk-up play, and on the weekend, all 4 courts are not reserved and available for walk-up play. This does not violate the monopolization policy, and she plans to approve the request. So again, that's just informational. Next, we have the code enforcement report, but I believe Christine told me that we did not receive that in time from BIU this month. So I do not have a report. Just double checking it's not here. Yeah, I do not have a report to share for code enforcement. Next would be the police chief's report. And the chief is also not here, but I will read the report. So these are the enforcement activities for the Verona Police Department for the period of May 2022. There were 137 complaints received, 17 total crimes reported, 14 total crimes cleared, 1 person arrested, 35 borough code summaries issued, 92 borough parking tickets issued. And then as far as revenue collected this year by the district magistrate at the Verona Police Department, there were magistrate fines collected to the tune of $798.05. Borough fines and fees collected were $675. Police reports purchased $60, and a total of $1,533. And then separately, there were parking permit fees of $150. So moving on, we have the fire chief's report. Fire chief is not here tonight either. Asked me to read this. There were 11 incidents for the month of May. On May 3rd, there was an electrical fire at 555 Wildwood Avenue. May 5th, there was a natural gas incident at 1 Demore Drive. May 6th, there was a water condition inside structure at 619 South Avenue. Also in the same date, another water condition inside structure at 549 to 559 Ridge Avenue. May 6th as well, there was a vehicle versus pedestrian accident at Allegheny River Boulevard and Center Avenue. May 7th, there was flooding at 7360 Shannon Road. 5:15, there was an alarm system sounded due to malfunction at 1 Demore Drive. 5:20, there was an alarm system sounded due to malfunction at 312 Center Avenue. 5:20, there was a dispatch wrong location, 130 Fairview Drive. 5:29, there was a carbon monoxide incident at 542 West Railroad Avenue. 5:31, there was a passenger vehicle fire at 521 East Railroad Avenue. I can't speak to that. I don't.
I know in the past when it's flooded, they have the ability to pump it out.
I mean, I will say the second one at Ridge Avenue, there was the police department on scene reported sewer backup, but there was nothing present upon their arrival. So, I mean, perhaps if they think if it's a sewer issue, you know, with the borough sewers, and that would warrant, you know, calling 911. But I don't, you know, Dan may be able to shed more light on whether they get a lot of that.
Can I speak a second?
Yeah, sure, right.
Oh, Ray's here. I forgot. Sorry, Ray.
No, that's okay. We get a lot of calls that people don't know what the call is for. I mean, like the Demore Tires call was a natural gas call, and it was just the smell of something. There's no natural gas in Demore Tires. It's all electric. People in their house, a lot of times they'll smell sewer gas. They think it's natural gas. So a lot of times it's how it's dispatched, or how it's taken from the phone caller to 911 to how the 911 operator enters it into the system. And then that's how it's dispatched out. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, I think that was really helpful, Ray. I appreciate that.
Ray, maybe you can speak on this also. That's what I was going to bring up.
I'm sorry.
I lived by the river my whole life, and I know when there's flooding and stuff down there, the fire department comes down and pumps out people's houses. Correct? Ray, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Vince. I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe you can speak on this. I was telling them that, you know, since I live by the river, that in the past, when it is flooded down there, the fire department has gone down and pumped out people's houses for them. Is that correct?
Vince, you were all broken up. you were saying about when in the past flooding, fire department
Yeah.
came to everybody's house and helped them?
Well, no, if they request it, the fire department will come and pump their basements out. for them.
Well, a lot of it, yeah, a lot of it has to do, pumping basements is another situation where, you know, it's a sewer backup and the water's not gonna go down. You need a plumber. We're not plumbers, you know? I mean, if there's a lot of water, we can pump it out, but they gotta get the problem fixed. And that's what happens. They just think if we pump it out, it'll be good. And that, you know, we've told a lot of these people, you gotta get to the source of the issue. And
say hi, you be mad at me.
And so that's where we're at, you know.
Rhoda was
Well,
just asking if that was common. The fire,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
common practice.
we get a lot of sewers backing up, and like I said, it's just as people don't know who to call, so they call 911, and 911 will hit us out and say it's a backed up system or whatever, and they're flooding, and we go check it out, and like just for instance, like the issue up on 4th Street last month, you know, we were there 2 times, and then it ended up being a sewer and the storm sewer, if I'm not mistaken, out front of their house that the borough had to go up and help too. So there's a lot of different variations as to why it backs up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, there's 2 things related to the fire department I want to mention. One is the Allegheny County Volunteer Firefighters Convention is going on this week, June 11th through 18th, hosted by the Oakmont and Verona Fire Departments. I understand they have a lot of activities going on all this week. I don't know, Ray, if you want to add anything, since I think you've been attending that.
Yes. What we've been doing is, it started last Saturday night. We had a night at the races at Verona Fire Hall. Sunday, nothing. Monday and Tuesday, we're doing the Battle of the Barrel down at 3rd Street, down in Oakmont. And if tomorrow, if we need be, but I think we're going to finish it all tonight. So there'll be nothing tomorrow. There'll be nothing Thursday. Friday night, there's a meeting and a dinner, memorial service for the firemen that died in the last year in the Allegheny County. So that's up at Verona Fire Hall, and I think it starts at 7. I'm not exactly sure. But that'll happen at Verona Fire Hall. And then Saturday will be the parade, and that starts at 5 at Oakmont, down by Pennsylvania and the Boulevard, I believe. And then it'll come down through Oakmont, through Verona, and come up East Railroad in front of the Borough Building. And we'll stop there, and then that's where we'll have the presentation of the trophies for the parade. And then that's the finality of it.
Great, thanks, Ray.
Yep.
Sounds like a lot of great events. Hopefully everyone's able to get out and check it out.
There's been a lot of good attendance. Hopefully the parade weather will be nice, and there'll be a lot of companies here, a lot of companies from Allegheny County, and it should be a fun day. So.
Yeah, the weather on Saturday in particular looks really good right now. So hopefully
Right.
that holds.
Right. So.
All right, thanks, Ray, for that. Now back to Vince's item regarding the donation to the victims of the fire on Penn Street last weekend. So you're suggesting?
I'm just proposing that we allow someone to put a donation box in the vestibule. That way we get, they have approval.
Does anyone have objections to that? This is assuming, I mean, someone else is going to be responsible.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear what Vince said.
I'm proposing that we put a donation box in the vestibule.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I know there's a lot of clubs around town and people doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I'm just offering another drop off.
Okay. So I'll make a note for Christine to let her know that council's okay with borough building vestibule being a drop-off point for donations to the fire victims.
I don't think you need to.
No.
It's not on the agenda, number one. And number two, it's not uncommon to use a facility like this for an emergency situation. You don't have to. You don't have to accept reports if you don't want to. Some municipalities do, others don't. The report, whether it's accepted or not accepted.
No, Rhoda, just to be clear, the only actions tonight are the bills, the minutes, and then the new business at the end of the meeting. So none of the reports needed.
On the issue of putting a drop-off spot out there, it could accumulate rather quickly. So we should have a contact number for somebody to come down and clear it out as it gets
Yeah, I will tell if needed.
filled up.
They said they've gotten a lot of donations already. So this is just if needed, I just offer it. They asked me, so I just wanted to give an answer. And if they do need it, I will tell them to either contact information.
You walk into the government building.
I can tell you, we have a box of clocks that cover six of our cards and bad weather, and also a box of really good weather. I think we have salt and
Call you. They got it.
You know,
I think.
Micromanaging.
So,
it's like blocks,
Yeah.
everything from the house to the store to the-
I think I tried it on the box.
Because when you walk in, it's a government building, usually you'll have all of the things there. It's information or like the other two bill tables. Back.
All right, moving on with the agenda. The next up is the EMS report from Lower Valley Ambulance. Jamie was not able to be here tonight either. The monthly report for May, there were 11 ALS calls, 20 BLS calls, 5 refusals, 4 lift assist, 2 cancellations, 2 evaluation, for a total of 44 911 responses, 7 mutual aid responses, meaning neighboring service responded, and Lower Valley covered 85% of the total volume. Here's a reminder that their annual subscription drive is underway. These subscriptions help fund their service, and additionally, residents may save 50% off of their copay. This helps with operating expenses and upgrades to equipment and vehicles. They've also recently hired 5 new employees. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Jamie Lavelle directly. All right. Next up, we have the solicitor's report, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you. So I actually put together a written report, try to make the meeting go a little bit smoother and as we try to figure out ways to reduce the time of the meetings. I'm not going to read every item. There's a lot of items on the solicitor's report this month, but I'll just touch on them. I talked about the collective bargaining issues that we had and went with it at executive session recently. The second item was the recreation board bylaws. Those are completed. I believe that Christine has forwarded them on to the recreation board for their final approval and maybe through council as well. Those are ready to be acted upon as soon as council is ready and willing to do that. It can be done at the workshop meeting. I discussed the administrative search warrants that Mike McDermott and I went up to Magistrate Judge DeLuca's office to obtain. There was 3 properties on there. 2 of those 3, I think, are on the agenda today with regard to the vacant property recovery program. I talked about 727 3rd Street and the issues with raw sewage complaints that we had. Number 5 was the memorandum of understanding with Steel City Rowing. I did receive word back from Will Brown. He accepted the MOU that I prepared, and is placing that on the board's agenda in mid-July. we also talked about, I mentioned some damage to the docks down there that he's going to get some estimate for repair if they can't do it themselves and forward that on. I'll keep forward up the date on that. We received a right to know request and we issued a 30-day extension on that. Christine and Teresa are working on that. There was some discussion about charging an administrative fee on an online feature that Christine's working on with the new website. Should somebody that has a Verona Borough address but not live in Verona proper pays to Verona accidentally, she wanted to know was it legal to charge an administrative fee if it needed to be refunded, and I told her that it's legal to do so. You just can't use it as a revenue streaming basis. It has to be reasonably related to the activity. Number 8 is policy regarding maintenance on private property. I believe that was passed out at the last workshop. It's ready to be enacted, which can be done at the workshop as well. I don't think it's on the agenda for tonight. And I just reiterated my caution to the board with regard to comments on litigation items, which everybody's been doing so well on. And that's it. If everybody likes that format, I'd be happy to continue on with that too.
It's helpful.
That is great. Thank you, Craig. I think that policy on maintaining nuisance properties is on the
Is it
agenda.
on the agenda? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So, and then I just realized, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was going to ask if I can just speak one thing on that about the the docks. We had a call down there tonight, and one of the dock bolts come out, and the other one was missing a cotter pin to hold the other bolt in. So we need to get somebody down there. I don't know whose responsibility it is. We need somebody to get down there before someone gets on that and it breaks loose. So I don't know if that's the borough or.
Ray, this is the borough public dock?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know who's responsible for it, but we need to get somebody down there to look at that. Whether it be our guy.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean-
I called AJ and he says he doesn't even know that they're responsible or not. Nobody really knows. So I was going to bring it up under public safety, but since Craig was talking about it, I just wanted to mention it. I can talk to you later on about it, Dave.
Okay, thanks for letting us know, Ray. I mean, is this the same damage that Mr. Brown from Steel City Rowing brought up?
I don't know that. For a fact, it probably is.
There's two bolts that hold this side dock on, that hold it to the main dock. And now the one bolt's missing, so we put a rope around that just to hold it, and then we got a piece of metal or wire and put in the other bolt, so it's not going to come out. But it needs to be looked at.
Okay, I mean, I think my understanding from that MOU is still in the works, right?
Right.
Right.
So until then, I mean, I don't know if we could ask.
I still think we're doing routine maintenance voluntarily.
Yeah.
On whatever handshake deal they've had in the past, and I know that he's looking into getting that done. Ultimately, it's the borough's responsibility. I could follow up with him in the morning to see if that's what he was talking about when he mentioned some unusual dock damage.
Yeah, I mean, I can let, I'll let Christine know, but I think we would want to follow up with Steel City Rowing and see if they could, if they're, we're working on an agreement for them to inspect and do that sort of repairs. I'm thinking they could potentially do that, and if there's costs, they could,
I
let
think
Christine know, and we.
Christine's not here. If that big of a safety issue, I think maybe I should just follow them directly tomorrow.
Sure, if you're already in talks with them, then that would be great. Thanks, Craig. Okay. Oh, the item I was going to mention, I realized from my notes, I had the wrong date on our executive session last week. It was actually June 9th. I think you mentioned that in your report. Okay. Next up, engineers report. Matt is also not here. I everyone decided to go on vacation this week. So I'm just gonna highlight couple. I'm not gonna go over everything in Matt's report. I'm just gonna try to touch on items that have recent activity. First Street reconstruction grant. All work is completed. A final pay request is submitted to DCD. The DCD Greenway Trails and Recreation Program grant. Fix for the water pressure has been determined. Parts are being ordered and will be installed when they arrive. For the CDBG year 46, work is complete. He's awaiting final paperwork on a sanitary lining and CCTV from contractor. PA Small Water and Sewer. Project specs and for the CCTV and condition rating, project specs and big documents are being created. That'll be advertised and bid in 2022. CDBG year 47 for the Wildwood culvert repair. Pampina is awaiting the paperwork from the COG before he can get started. 2021 Greenways Trail and Recreation Program grant. That's being scheduled for 2023. CDBG year 48, still waiting, I believe, on those projects that we have applied for.
We still have that
Yeah, well, I think that's the one that,
Keep bringing it up.
It's what was applied for, though.
but yeah, but I think the reason he keeps it on there is that that's what was applied for. So we don't even know if we've been awarded that yet. So if we don't get awarded it, then it's moot. Once we get awarded it, he'll probably adjust it to whatever scope we determine at that time. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think he's aware of that. Let's see, Alcosan regionalization consent order. I know he's working with Christine and Alcosan on that. That's ongoing. He's going to have a presentation coming up on that. The others are grants that were submitted for, still waiting, I believe, for confirmation. So I believe that's it for the engineer's report. Sure.
I think we all need to become very realistic and aware of all these wonderful projects. We have a lot of money now.
Yep.
So we need to take that into consideration when we come budget time. Because right now, we don't have the money to cover this. So I think we all need to think about that. Like I said, these are wonderful projects. We need our roads paved, we need alleys paved, and we just need to keep that in perspective.
Thank you. I agree with that. Some of these projects are committed. You know, some of them are already in
That's the
construction.
problem. That's it, yeah.
Some of them we've agreed, we've accepted the grant, and we've pushed to next year. So it would mean canceling a grant. Some of them we haven't received the grant yet, so you know, we may be able to, you know, table it or withdraw if we needed to. So those are just some of the options.
They're all important. That's the thing. And we
Yep.
need them in sanitary lines. We need to have them in sewer projects. We need to-
All right, moving on to committee reports. Finance committee, anything, Mr. Warren?
Other than in new business, we have item G, which we'll go over later. There's nothing to discuss. Ray, Rhoda, and Christine and I had met for this last month's meeting and had that recommendation for resolution tonight, which is a matter of paperwork, but I think that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Other than I will put you all to task. I know we think of like budget and I see eyes at me. This is budget. So for next month, I know everyone's doing very diligent work this year, month by month, taking a look at what we're doing. I know people have been taking copious notes on what's important, what they're hearing from residents. But when we do have the exercise next month to begin budget, I just want to remind everyone, try to have numbers to it. We're going to have a lot of emotion and what we think is important. We're all agreeing on, you know, what we want to do, but please do come with numbers. Please come with priorities. And we're probably going to have to concede to some more important things, or we're going to have to be creative, or we're going to have to think through you know, we're going to challenge ourselves again like we did last year. So I just ask that we all come prepared for discussion next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Recreation and Community Events Committee, Mr. Flota, do you have anything?
Nothing on the agenda. I just wanted to see if it was council to. I believe that we are going to get a replacement. For the damage one. On here. I think we could make remove the damage before it actually breaks off. It bent down pretty bad. Metal. That would. It could become everything. So. I mean, I didn't want to just call Christine and tell her.
I agree with this thing.
I don't have an objection.
No, it's already being replaced by people.
Yeah. All right, I'll leave a note for Christine to ask DPW to remove the damage table.
Yeah, that's all. Make sure that they don't go away. Only the top, the bottom. Replacement parts, in case something else gets broken in the future.
All right, thank you. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Suchovich, do you have anything? Give him a second. Might be using the hose right now. Ray, are you with us?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have anything on the any updates from the Public Safety Committee?
No, I don't believe we met last month. I don't have any notes tonight.
That's okay. I just wanted to give you a chance.
No, we did want to talk. We do need to look into the fire hydrant line painting and the footage of that. But our meeting is coming up, and I'm not sure what date. I don't have my papers in front of me.
Okay, up on the 27th. Okay. All right, thanks, Ray.
Yep.
Communications Committee, Mrs. Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everybody. Newsletter, articles and ads are due on Monday, August 1st. I'd like to have them as soon as you can get them to us, the sooner the better. For articles, you can send them to Donald Wolf at Verona Newsroom @gmail.com. And for the ads, I can be reached at 412-828-9542. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, June 21st, 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And we haven't gotten the Kennywood tickets yet, but we are expecting them very soon. And at that time, I will have prices on them. Right now, we don't have that information yet, but they will be sold at the Verona News Store. John Kenny will be handling that. Verona Historical Society, no meeting this month, but Rhoda, thank you very much. Rhoda has set up a trip with the Nemacolin Council, and that will be this Saturday, June the 18th. Twin Borough Ministries, the community dinner will be on Wednesday, June 29th, from 4:30 to 6:30, and it will be hosted by the Verona United Methodist Church. Soups are still available, and if you would like to order them, call Shirley at 412-828-3412. I spoke with ALOM this morning, and there's nothing on the calendar at this time, but they should have some reports for me possibly next month. So I'll be glad to share them with you then, because they are going to start some events in September. And if there are any questions or any comments, I'm glad to listen. If not, this concludes my report, and I thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the Infrastructure and Asset Management Committee, Ms. Rajat Showalter. Excuse me.
All the best.
Thank you. Yeah, wishing you all the best. All right, thank you. Next up, we have the Community Development Committee, Ms. Moore.
And I'm just wanting to encourage everyone to fill out pictures when they see violations. Also, our meeting's coming up for 20th. We can have it available. Christine sent us a on the website. So anyone that's interested.
Thank you. Any updates from COG?
We have a new place to meet.
Oh, where's that?
Right.
Oh, a little bit.
The Murphy Building.
Yeah, yeah. I just would have posted that we would be the meeting.
Yeah, what happened with that?
It was just, it was the healthiest place, and the safest place to keep, having your office, your main office, like their headquarters.
Oh,
Well, I think their office was up on Golf Lab Road.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what they
Yeah.
did was they were able to acquire this Murphy's building in Brenham,
oh,
and it's large enough to have the meetings right there, so
I
they
see.
didn't have to have them in Harmerville. And there's been some talk about whether Harmerville is going to stay in the cloud or not, so that's another consideration.
okay.
Hopefully they are.
Yeah.
There's also a potential new,
These
Record,
are
right?
combinations of powers.
yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Good. Thank you. All right, moving on to new business. Do we want to revisit the bills and minutes? Are we ready to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to pass this month's bills as shared from our packets earlier this evening.
Okay, first by Mr. Warren, second by Mrs. Wharf. Any questions or comments?
Ray's ready to vote. His mic's live.
I'm just getting ready.
I know, we can hear you.
All right. No questions, comments. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? All right, oh, sorry, motion passed.
I'd like to make a motion to pass the minutes from last month as well.
All right, Joey, yeah. Joey made the motion
It's
to,
3 motions. Everyone read it? We got 3 motions on it.
One motion.
Ray's on mute. We scared him.
I'll make a 4th motion. Let's go.
We got 4.
all right. First by Mr. Warren, second by Mrs. Wharf. Any questions or comments? Sorry, say that again. This is on which,
So council's a collective voted and it's just not showing persons. So yeah, so council agreed and voted on it, it passed. You're wanting to see first and seconds?
Well, I just want to make sure that this is.
I mean, I guess, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess we could pass these minutes with the correction to add that in.
yeah.
Or they're
it
posted
should
to the
be-
website.
It should be in there, who made a motion, who seconded.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of the minutes.
In the minutes? I think it's the same station, just depends on what time of year. I don't know how it was phrased, but yeah. Unless that's how it was said and that's how it was typed up.
This was also on the May 10th minutes.
I think I copied it.
Yeah, if you can send that to Christine, that would be helpful. I'll send her a note that you have some corrections. So any other comments or questions? All right, so all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, so moving on, the first is, you all have a copy of it? I made some copies because it wasn't in the packet. We have a motion to adopt the new form to reserve council chambers. First by Mrs. War, second by Mrs. Provenza.
Glad this was nice. and easy.
Yeah.
Trish did most of it. I just added the lines.
All right, any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Next, we have a resolution to adopt a policy on maintaining nuisance properties. So this was discussed at the workshop meeting last month. So you've all seen the policy, have a copy of it. Rhoda, did you want to add anything? Okay.
It was pretty well.
Yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to pass this resolution for the policy on maintenance of condemned properties? All right, first by Mrs. War, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Next up, we have a resolution for vacant property recovery program for 558 Church Street. Greg, do we need to read or state anything else about this?
No.
So I have a motion to adopt the resolution for the vacant property recovery program for 558 Church Street. Okay, first by Mrs. War, second by Mrs. Redzat Showalter. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Next, we have a resolution for the vacant property recovery program for 845 and 851 Second Street. Do I have a motion to pass that resolution? All right, first by Mrs. War, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Next up, we have resolution to utilize ARPA funds to participate in the Duquesne Light Energy Savings Program. I will, yep. First by Mrs. Worf, second by Mrs. Provenza. So I have any questions or comments? We did, and I just had a note from Christine, and this is her words. I'm reading verbatim. She stated, last meeting the program pays 80% and we pay 20%, which is true. What I did not know was that there was a recycling fee that is not part of the program. This means that the total cost labor, materials, and recycling we would need to pay is 25%. The payoff is 1.5 years at most, which is still around what she stated at the last meeting. This can be paid through ARPA funds, as she read the regulations. If not ARPA, we would need to pay it with the general fund. So I just wanted to add that note from Christine. Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Next is resolution to make a donation of $500 to the Twinborough Health Ministry Summer Camp. Do I have a motion there? Okay, first by Mrs. Provenza, second by Mrs. Redzak Showalter. Any questions or comments?
We'll be sure to get this in the budget then for next year. So if there's plans for next year's, we know what month it is, it'll be helpful so we can make sure we pack our budget with these things that we found out. So just want to make note that for discussion for this, it's something good to bring for July to know that this will be something around the same month if they're going to want to do it next year.
Yeah, I made a note on it for my budget notes, so.
Great.
All right, yep, thank you, Sylvia. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Next up, last but not least, we have a resolution to apply 2022 sewer fund expenses against the existing liability. Mr. Warren, did you want to say anything about this? I know that the finance committee reviewed this.
Yeah, it's a wonderful recommendation. So we have a $551,000 due to the sewer fund. So it's only wise that for any work we do towards the sewer work, that we count what we're doing towards that so we can chip away at it. So with this formality of doing this, we'll be able to make sure that we tally work we do and we just keep knocking that away with business as we conduct it. That's it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to pass this
I'll
resolution?
make that motion.
So first by Mr. Warren, second by Mrs. Wharf. Any questions or comments?
I think this is a really good example of us being smart with how we do what we do. So it's all these small details that are going to add up. So I appreciate the suggestion from Christine. She answered a lot of questions for Ray and Rhoda and I. I think this is just, working wisely.
Thank you. Thank you to the committee for reviewing that. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, that concludes our new business. I think I covered everything. We got the bills, we got the minutes.
We never had our other residents show up, just to make note of that. I don't see
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah, we had a registered comment from a Sean Mitchell. Just another call to make sure that Sean Mitchell is not with us to speak to their comment.
No, not in chambers and not virtual either. I don't see. It's
Okay.
8:06.
All right then. So with that, we will move on to comments from the public. This time, council will hear comments on public related items. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
So looking online, I don't see any virtual hands raised yet, and I don't see anyone approaching the podium from our public meeting.
Okay. I see one hand
We
raised
do.
now.
Name and address. There it is.
Dan Showalter, 440 North Avenue. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is just a little sidebar thing. Most of the meeting, and it might be a phone thing for me. I was not able to hear Rhoda, Sylvia, Trish, or Vince for the entire meeting via Zoom.
You said you hear
I don't know if necessarily microphones are dead or something like that. Just giving you guys a heads up for the next meeting.
Can you hear me now, Dan?
I can hear you now, Vince. Yes.
I had to literally yell into the, you see me leaving?
Yeah, I couldn't hear him either.
So just a heads up, maybe we got some dead microphones or something. Who knows? Just putting it out there.
All right, thank you. We'll look into it.
I don't see any other virtual hands raised at this point.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Good night, Ray.
First by Mrs. Provenza, second by Mr. Suchovich. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.